So I thought today I would do things a little differently. So rather than doing a blog style video, I thought I would do more of a how-to tutorial type and also intro type video, centering on the Book of Shadows or Grimoire. So I recently purchased myself a new book from Dreamkeeper. They're a family run business that make hand tanned leather journals. So I thought I would introduce my new journal, show you how I cleanse it, show you how I consecrate it, show you how I start it. So we'll get started and hopefully this video is enjoyable. So this is the book that I've bought. Like I said, it is a leather-bound journal, so if you've got a problem with leather, I apologise. I've bought leather-bound journals in the past before because they last forever and I can reuse them and refill the pages when I've completed the book. So this is the front. And before I start to work with it, I will cleanse it, consecrate it, make it my own, and then just immediately start working with it. So if you want to see how I do that, then carry on watching. So when I cleanse a new Book of Shadows, I treat it very much like I would a new tarot deck. I generally speaking do a triple cleanse, as I do with tarot decks. The only difference is that with it being a Book of Shadows and it being, I guess, more connected to my actual craft, I will just do things a little bit more ritualistically. I won't be casting a circle or anything like that because I generally speaking don't cast circles. I have a lot of protections around my house and also around my sacred space, so I don't generally feel the need. I'm more of the kind of person who will put up physical and spiritual protections around my house in general, because my whole house is essentially my sacred space. The only time I ever really cast a circle is when I do any kind of workings outside of my house, because obviously I have no protections when I'm outside. So I won't be casting a circle, but you could, if you wanted to, you could cast a circle, you could call in the quarters, but I'm not going to for this. So the triple cleanse that I'm going to be doing will be first of all, a water cleanse. So this is just a small bottle of seawater that I got from Formby Beach when I went. And then I will also be using just some incense sticks. These are just white sage incense sticks. They're made with essential oil rather than actual white sage, so I'll be using that. Then I will also be doing a sun cleanse. It's damp and miserable out at the moment, so what I'll do after I've done the water cleanse and the smoke cleanse is I will just set the book out into the windowsill to sit in the sun for 15 minutes or so. And while it's sitting in the sun, I will probably also just pop a selenite wand inside the book to give a little extra cleanse, so it will sit like this with the crystal inside the pages in the sun, just to essentially cleanse the whole thing inside and out. So I'll start, and then if you want to cleanse a new Book of Shadows in the same way, then you can follow these steps. enlist the aid of the element of water in cleansing this book. I cleanse it of all negativity. I cleanse it of the energies of the people who have previously held it. By the element of water, it is cleansed. I call upon the element of air to cleanse this book. I cleanse it of all negativity. I cleanse it of the energies of the people who have held it before. In the name of the element of air, this book is cleansed. I call upon the element of earth to cleanse this book. I cleanse it of all negativity. I cleanse it of the energies of the people who have held it before. In the name of the element of earth, it is cleansed. I call upon the element of fire and the energies of the sun to cleanse this book, to cleanse it of all negativity and the energies of all people who have held it before. In the name of the energy of fire, it is cleansed. So now that I have cleansed my book, it's technically been cleansed by all of the 4 elements. I can now consecrate the book. So consecrating the book is essentially dedicating it and claiming it as your own. It's done in a similar way to cleansing, but you word things a little differently. So again, you'll want to employ the 4 elements if you so choose. You can also consecrate it just with energy and then dedicate it to a deity if that's your thing. But for me, it will just be an elemental consecration and then a claiming of as my own, with my own energies as the energy of spirit. So what I've got to do that is just some black salt. This is what I've just made a moment ago. So all this is salt, and then a charcoal disc. One of these charcoal discs that I use for incense. It's half of one of those, broken up, ground up in a mortar and pestle, and just added to some salt. Then I've got a small bottle of moon water. So this is moon water that was charged in the Aries full moon at the weekend. I've also then got a white tea light and the incense that I used during the cleansing, because why light more incense when you can just use the one that you've already used. So I will consecrate the book, claim it as my own with my own energy, and then start to work in it straight away. So yeah, we'll go for it. I consecrate this book of shadows and I charge it with the power of the elements. I claim it for myself and I make it my own. With the energy of earth, I purify this book and I make it sacred. With the element of water, I purify this book, and I make it sacred. With the element of air, I purify this book, and I make it sacred. With the element of fire, I consecrate this book, and I make it sacred. I charge this book with the energy of my spirit. I consecrate it in the name of the moon, the stars, the sun, the earth, and the universe. I banish the energies of those who have held it before me, and I make it mine. Now, what you could do, once you've cleansed and consecrated your new Book of Shadows, is you can physically link it to yourself. So traditionally, this was done with blood. You would prick your finger, write your name if you can in your own blood, and then it would be irrevocably linked to you and your own personal energies. But blood magic isn't something that I'm particularly comfortable with. It's a very potent and potentially spiritually, not dangerous, but problematic form of magic if you don't know exactly what you are doing. So I will not be linking this book to myself in blood. But what I may do is just take a small piece of my hair, just a centimetre's worth of hair, stick it into the book and sign my name. What you can also do instead of using blood is to use dragon's blood ink, which is made using dragon's blood resin and a few other bits and pieces. You could also use black salt ink, but both are relatively difficult to make, so I will probably just use regular old ink, possibly, lick the pen or something, make sure your ink isn't toxic, just to link it to myself physically. I've already linked it to myself spiritually using my energies, but you can then link it to yourself physically. What you can and probably should also do is write a blessing in the book, just to protect it, to add an additional physical protection, a bit like me not casting a circle and having physical protections around my sacred space and around my home. You might want to add in a physical protection to the book, whether it be, could be a curse on anybody who looks at it without your consent if you really wanted to, but something to that extent where you are protecting the book from prying eyes, because a Book of Shadows, unless you want to share it with someone, unless you are like me and you're more than happy to share 99% of what goes into your Book of Shadows or your grimoire, then you don't want other people to look at it, especially if the people who live with you are not so sympathetic to your craft. Then yeah, I, generally speaking, only write a dedication to the elements in any of my Book of Shadows, because obviously I share the majority of my pages with people online, because when I first started learning about witchcraft I found it really difficult to find information from real people, so that's why I do what I do. But now what I'm going to go and do is I'm going to start on my book. In most traditions, you are supposed to use a tool straight away once you have consecrated it. So I'm essentially going to go to my dining table, get out my paints and my pencils and things, and do my front page. So if you'd like to watch that, then carry on watching. So there you have my newly cleansed, newly consecrated Book of Shadows or Grimoire, and that's the front page. So that's the page that I've just done, and if you want to see a few more details of it, I will post it on my Instagram. But yeah, so now you know how to cleanse, consecrate and start and bless your Book of Shadows or Grimoire. So hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want to see more things like this, then please just let me know in the comments and I will try to film more non-vlog type videos. So yeah, thanks for watching.